Good afternoon. We come together today to acknowledge the loss and celebrate the life of Dr. Simona Carrubba. We welcome those of you in attendance as well as those joining us over live stream. Dr. Carrubba was an assistant professor of physics at Mercyhurst University starting in the fall of 2017. She earned her undergraduate and graduate degrees in engineering physics for the University of Catania in her beloved hometown in Italy. She first came to the United States for a PhD fellowship at Louisiana State University's Health Sciences Center, where she worked at the neurology department. Dr. Carrubba's research, both at LSU and ever since, had been to study the brain. Her works focused on how exposure to electromagnetic fields affect brain processes. Even during her 4 years at Mercyhurst, she was able to continue doing research. Just this past fall, she presented a paper at the Regional American Association of Physics Teachers Conference entitled Bridging the Physics and Health Sciences Through Applied Research, where she discussed the interdisciplinary work they were conducting in both physics and biology involving electroencephalography to record brain activity to engage students from a variety of disciplines. Dr. Carrubba cared deeply about her students and truly loved teaching. In her short time at Mercyhurst, she attracted several physics majors and minors to the program. Her distinct and dynamic style and the sheer excitement for her work drew students to her. In fact, Dr. Carrubba fit the true definition of a lifelong learner. She was enrolled in the special education MS program at Mercyhurst and continued to learn ASL. She described her passion for such exploits as critical to ensuring that she did all in her power to help every single student she encountered and to better understand all her students and their unique needs. A lifelong lover of tango music and dance, she also continued to challenge herself to develop as a dancer. Though she was only starting her 4th year at the institution, Dr. Carrubba certainly embodied the spirit of Mercyhurst. She recognized that education is the heart of an institution, and students are the heart of education. On several occasions, she could be heard reminding herself and others that what we do as teachers means nothing if we do not make the students the center of our classrooms. She shared her time and energy freely with students and colleagues, and she dedicated herself to lifelong learning so she could continue to serve others. Both in the physics department and across the campus, in classrooms and in our hearts, Dr. Simona Carrubba, brilliant and bold, always bounding with a contagious energy, will be missed beyond measure.
Hello, my name is Madison. I am a Mercyhurst alum with a degree in physics, and I'd like to say a few words about Dr. Simona Carrubba today. I'm pretty nervous about speaking up here today. Public speaking has always been something that I was afraid of, that I didn't believe I was good enough at. But what I had been worried about today is that I won't do Dr. Carrubba justice, that I won't be good enough for her, and that I wouldn't convey as effectively as she deserves what an incredible person she was. Because words cannot describe the wonderful effect she had on people and how sincerely she cared about her students. But I have come to realize that this is not something I should be worried about, because every time that I've walked into her office with a late assignment or incomplete work or any other reason that made me believe I was a bad student, terrified that I would be reprimanded and shamed, she wasted no time in trying to help me and comfort me. She never acted in a way that made students feel badly. Every time I walked into her office feeling overwhelmed, my anxiety was gone within minutes, and she gave me whatever support I needed. She always did whatever she could to help her students. I took her general physics course the first semester I came here and continued to take her classes almost every semester after, and I believe she has taken every suggestion that myself and every other student has given her. Whether it was more time on an assignment or even a different teaching style, if you needed anything at all to succeed in her class, all you had to do was ask Dr. Carrubba. I never had to worry as much as I did about making her proud. She was always supportive and proud of her students, of everything that they did, no matter what. She was a professor who believed in her students' capabilities when they didn't believe in their abilities themselves, and she did everything in her power to help her students reach their full potential. While I'm, of course, devastated that her life has come to an end, I do find comfort knowing that she lived such a full life. She went out and did whatever it was that she found a passion for without ever hesitating. She did this with tango, with teaching, with being a lifelong learner. I can remember her talking to me about the classes she was taking for the special education program here at Mercyhurst. The passion she had for meeting her students' needs was immeasurable. The energy with which she lived her life and taught her classes was contagious. She brought so much joy to everyone she encountered here, and she will be deeply missed. She lived her life doing what made her happy and in such a way that touched the hearts of everyone she worked with. I believe we can all aspire to live our lives just a little more like Dr. Carrubba lived hers, and I believe she would want us to.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here with all of us today to celebrate the life of my dear colleague and friend, Simona Carrubba. As I was trying to put pen to paper and figure out what it is that could be said about someone as kind and exuberant and dynamic as Simona, my mind kept returning to one particular interaction with her. It was the first of many lunches that we would have together. Lunches spent getting to know each other first as colleagues and then as friends. During those lunches, we would talk about the university and our students, the physics discipline, teaching, our shared love of food and travel. But that first lunch, I can nearly replay it in my head. We had picked a table for 4 at the grotto, and Simona had put her coat on a chair, and so I took the seat across from her. We went to get our food, and when we came back to the table, she beat me back, and she had sat in one of the chairs right next to where I put my jacket. So, as a perhaps slightly introverted physicist is wont to do, I took the seat far across from her again. And the look on her face was surprise mixed with maybe a little bit of frustration, and she jumped up out of her seat and came right next to me again. She put her hand on my forearm and stated, more than asked, "I'll sit here." And then she said, "Connection matters." Connection matters. That phrase rings in my ears each time I think of her. Because though she may not have ever actually called it this, I truly believe it was a bit of a personal mantra for her. She surely used the phrase often when we were talking about so many things. All that Simona was, the pursuits and activities to which she gave her skills and time and energy, they were all about connection. Her friends and her family, tango, a dance which truly only works well if you're connected to your partner, her dedication to learning ASL, studying the graduate program, to her colleagues here at Mercyhurst, and especially to her students. In every lunch we ate together, through the stories she told me about visiting her family in Sicily and her friends in Buffalo, tango trips across the tri-state region and beyond, connection was the thread that tied it all together. And the same dedication to connecting to her students was the hallmark of Simona's teaching here at Mercyhurst. It certainly didn't take long for Simona to become what I think of as a true Mercyhurst faculty member. She cared deeply about her students no matter their major. She did everything to help them be successful. She wanted to learn from them as much as she wanted them to learn from her. She encouraged them to come and see her, to pursue difficult questions and to do research and to explore the world around them. To Simona, connecting with students and with her colleagues was most important. And when you look around this room, it's clear that she managed to do just that. And so, as we take this moment to reflect on her life and the way that she touched all of us, it is my sincere hope that we will adopt a bit of her mantra for ourselves, that we will remember each day that connections matter, the big ones and the small ones, the connections to each other, to our students and to our colleagues, and to the bigger world around us. I know that I personally am honored to have had the chance to be connected to Simona, and I know that many of you feel the same. Thank you.
The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having, perhaps, the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. Simona is the grassy road in the yellow wood, begging us, inviting us to try something new, to explore, to feel passion beyond the ordinary. I wasn't gonna cry. Her exuberant spirit reminds us to choose the road less traveled by, because this little risk, this little choice can make all the difference. Please let the memory of who she was be the story told with a sigh. Ages and ages hence, the grassy road in the yellow wood. beckons us all. Thank you.
Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mackenzie, and I am a senior biochemistry major and physics minor. Dr. Carrubba was my physics advisor. I just wanted to take this moment to share a little story about Dr. Carrubba with you today. In November of 2019, I, along with 2 other physics students, were invited to attend a conference in Rhode Island with Dr. Carrubba. I was honored to be invited to attend this conference with her, and the weekend was a great success overall. At the end of the conference, we were preparing to leave and head back to Mercyhurst, but before we left, we waited in the lobby of the hotel for a few minutes. As we waited in the hotel lobby, I spotted a grand piano, and because I know a few songs, I decided to sit down and play. As I started to play, Dr. Carrubba began to dance to the music. Tango dancing, of course. I don't know many songs, so I had to play the same ones over and over again so that she could keep dancing, but she didn't seem to mind. Eventually, I went to stop playing and get up from the piano, but she told me to keep going because she wasn't done dancing yet. That experience with her is one of the most special moments of my entire life, and I will surely hold on to it forever. As I look back on that day, I remember the freedom and the joy that Dr. Carrubba possessed as she danced. It didn't matter who was watching because she was doing something that she loved with all of her heart. My hope for us all today is that we can find that thing that we love and do it with as much joy as she did with teaching and dancing. May our lives always carry on the dance that she started. Dr. Carrubba, we love you, we miss you, and we wish you could be here with us today. But we thank you for the impact that you had on this campus, on our education, and on our lives. Your voice continues to echo throughout the hallways of Zurn, and your memory will live on in our hearts and our minds forever. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to be able to speak this afternoon in celebration of Dr. Simona Carrubba. Described by family, dear friends, students, and colleagues as a bright light, true embodiment of life at its best, always open, positive, smart, brave, generous, and kind. A beautiful soul, a bright comet, an energy that will live on forever. She was of brilliant mind, a PhD in physics engineering. If you don't know, engineering physics or engineering science refers to the study of combined discipline of physics, mathematics, chemistry, biology, and engineering, particularly computer, nuclear, electrical, electronic, aerospace, materials, or mechanical engineering. I had to look it up myself. However, Simona moved easily out of that cerebral space into the nonlinear and non-cerebral form of communicating. She was a lover of music and expression in any form. She believed everyone should be able to communicate in American Sign Language. Her best friend, Dejana, who lovingly cared for Simona these last few months, told me that Simona used her body as a tool of expression and connection, a way to communicate on a different frequency. Simona was a tanger, a dancer. To be specific, she joined the Argentine tango community in Buffalo close to a decade ago. Different than the American tango, as I understand it, it's more advanced. The American version is more along the line of a foxtrot, where everything is basically a prescribed formula. Boring, they would say. The Argentine tango is more interpretive, allowing for creativity and personal expression, and has a more difficult walk and a language all its own. In an interview with the owner of the dance studio in Buffalo where Simona studied tango, she was asked what kept her motivated to take classes, to practice on her own, to improve to a level that she had quickly become an instructor, traveling for competitions, and an ambassador of the art form. Her response, after a pretty thoughtful pause, was this: I am a teacher, and I am a learner, and I love to learn, and I love a challenge. She went on to say, I am challenged on one side, and on the other side, I always feel that I'm getting better. Tango fits perfectly with my needs. If you have ever studied or heard of flow theory, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi says this: the best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, or relaxing times. The best moments usually occur in a person's body or mind when it's stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult or worthwhile. There was nothing passive about Simona. She entered a room, you noticed. She wondered about something, she inquired. Just check with Phil Belfiore. She was enrolled in his graduate program, as you've learned, and she wanted to learn more about people so she could better teach all students. He tells me she was never, ever shy about asking a question and how much that enhanced his classes. In the interview, she went on to say that for her, tango spread happiness. And it was an incredible feeling being synchronized with the music and another person in the world, and that she loved the idea of exchanging energy. Now remember, Simona was a teacher of physics, and the science of physics tells us that everything in the world is a flow of energy. Determined, she simply phrased it in the interview that her responsibility, and determined in life, she was determined that her philosophy in life was to spread happiness and to share it with others, and that tango was a way to get closer to that magic. She said that twice. So a number of Dr. Carrubba's students are here today, and interestingly, one of them in particular told me this: Dr. Carrubba's classes were magic, and I thought that was really interesting. Dr. Carrubba in the interview said tango was getting closer to the magic, and a student said her classes were like magic. So the student went on to explain to me that the classes were like a give and take. There was conversation and dialogue, question and answer, thinking and prompting, right answers, wrong answers, frustrations and victories. Much like Simona described her need in life to really be in that state of flow, where she was challenged enough to not be too frustrated to quit, but enticed and encouraged enough to learn and want to know more, it was like she created her own dance for the students and for her own little Argentine tango in her physics classroom. A really complex topic, physics, to a lot of us, very intimidating, inside the four walls of a Mercyhurst classroom for our Mercyhurst students. Magic. May Simona's mother, father, Giuseppe Carrubba and Lydia Cineri, her brother, Arturo Carrubba, and dear friends DeJohnesse, Joaquin Canet, know that our students have been blessed by our dear colleague and friend, the maker of magic, Dr. Simona Carrubba.
Good afternoon. I'll begin this closing prayer with a portion of a poem by Irish poet John O'Donoghue called For Lost Friends. As twilight makes a rainbow robe from the concealed colors of day, in order for time to stay alive within the dark weight of night, may we lose no one we love from the shelter of our hearts. When we love another heart and allow it to love us, we journey deep below time into the eternal weave where nothing unravels. Though a door may have closed between us, may we be able to view our lost friend with eyes, wise with calming grace. May we be able to celebrate the gifts they brought, learn and grow from the pain, and prosper into difference, wishing them the peace where spirit can summon beauty from wounded space. Holy One, we gather our gratitude and our sorrow and all that we feel and remember today. We ask for your mercy. We ask for the boundless energy and selflessness and love that Simona so well exemplified. Amen. Thank you all for gathering to honor Simona's life. Go forth in peace and hope.